we'll go ahead with question 1. We'll scroll up. How many people have 2 or more addresses? So we can start there by just looking at our structure to start with. Your diagram, see that when we look at our structure again, we'll bring it up on the screen. You can see that ID is user ID and addresses. And just from the structure, the ER diagram, we can actually work out that we can select from. You can see how many addresses are associated with a user ID and address table, and just count them. So we'll go ahead and we'll switch over to the desktop view before, and we can close this, open a new query, and from there it is literally just, we can start by select not user ID in this one, is it? Yeah, user ID, and account as part of addresses from addresses table, and we can just group by the user ID. We can go ahead and run on that. We can see we're getting a lot. We're getting like user ID 1 only is 1, user ID 4 is 2 addresses, 6 is 2, etc. And we actually get a result from down here. So it's returned 636 result. Now 636 rows for this entire thing, which means there's not 1,000. And well, I already knew there was 1,000, but we'll go ahead and we'll actually filter it. Now, we won't use the filter. We'll use having. Actually, we'll go ahead and we'll make that look nice, to be honest, because you should always try to make your queries look nice. And there's a nice little button over here. You can format it. And we can do it having number of addresses greater than 1. That will only show everybody that has 2 or more. There we go. And from that we can find out we get 255 user accounts with 2 or more addresses associated user IDs. Now that's not actually what the question asked. The question asked how many people have 2 or more addresses. So you can actually wrap that query in a count. So we'll go ahead and I'll put the brackets in just now because I'm going to be wrapping it. And select count star as, I'll just call it more than 2. From, and we're selecting it from the results from this query as, and we're selecting because this comes as a virtual table, this result. We can name it, we can actually name it virtual table. It just creates a table in memory. We can go ahead, we can run that, and there we go. We now know that there's 255 255 user accounts with 2 or more addresses. Now we can confirm that by just changing. We can see how many user accounts I actually have 1 or more. You should always check 263, and that's the result we got to begin with. So we can also do equal to 2. There's multiple ways of doing that. They all got is the same result. So that's actually the answer to question 1. 255 user accounts have 2 or more addresses in the table.